Welcome. My name is Penelope Chatterton. Welcome to Awaken the Dream. My friends, I have Cynthia Frances-Bacon back this week because she was so much fun last week and so inspiring that I can't wait to talk with her again. And you haven't seen me for a year, maybe longer.
Yeah.
And we really bonded, and all of a sudden we're getting
back together again.
We're getting back together again. And you're going to talk about the mysteries of manifesting.
Yes.
And yes, how do we do it?
How do we do it?
Why is it a mystery?
Well, the thing is, there's so many mystery school teachings that have come out now.
Yes.
That make us understand so many other things. And as I was saying in last week's
segment. In your big voice.
Yes. That last week's segment, I was talking about how we co-create all of our experiences on some level. So with the law of attraction, I'll say to students, because I teach a class called The Mysteries of Manifesting, and I'll ask them, did they see the movie The Secret? And they go, oh yes, I
Everybody's talking about The Secret.
Did you read The Secret? Oh yes. Do you understand the law of attraction? Oh yes, I think it's wonderful. Did you see What the Bleep? Oh yes, I love quantum physics. Did you see the movie The Peaceful Warrior? Yes, they're all fabulous. And then I ask this question, how did it change your life? And they all sit there like a deer in headlights because they can't answer. Because there's a point where you receive data, and knowledge is when you're running it through the heart and it creates a different reality. So we have a lot of data, but we don't have a lot of knowledge. So I wanted to teach a class to get to the fine points of how we keep creating the negative instead of the positive, and how we're not doing it right.
I like the way you call the heart knowledge.
That's right.
Because people could get very confused on, that doesn't sound right, but it is. Knowledge is here, data is here.
That's right. And we have to have the connection to fully experience life here. It's like the people that don't know joy, but they love God and they choose struggle. But joy is when you're really present on the earth. And can experience the earth energies and the beautiful sun and the trees, when you can walk outside and feel your connections around you. That's why I work with so many crystals. That's joy, but you can't have joy unless you're grounded. So I'll see a lot of clients, for an example, because I do quantum healing, and I'll see them floating outside their bodies. They don't realize that just by pulling them in can cure depression. That's the problem. They're not in their body. If you're not in the body, you can't experience joy here.
Do you think they're afraid of being themselves?
Well, trauma usually is the thing.
Disconnects you?
Yes, it could be from a past life too, but trauma will always be the thing you escape, but sometimes you never fully come back. I see this with people that have lost their mothers, lost their father, husbands. They never fully get back in because it's almost like they couldn't handle it, they didn't have a strong enough faith, and now they've been spiritually traumatized. So there's techniques as a healer that you have to help them get back grounded, because the Earth Mother is so powerful and the Earth energy is so beautiful that once you experience it, you'll find that joy that Jesus, the Avatar, spoke about so many times, and Buddha. And Muhammad.
Jesus' message was so simple.
It was so simple that people can't comprehend it.
Human beings seem to need to fool with it.
That's right. We have to keep trying to analyze something that's just a basic truth. We co-create our realities, and we have the ability to overcome karma. We have the ability to overcome the life. When you think about it, God created us to have an expression to experience us. So does it make any logical sense that He would create us to have a terrible life? Does that make sense to you?
No.
So He can experience that?
I hear where you're going, and I also have, from my Joel Goldsmith material, we don't have to beg and plead for anything. Love that created us knows exactly what's up.
They always say to me, I heard you the first time. See what I mean? Because when you make a statement, now there's a pointed part of the mystery of manifesting is to believe you already have it. Why? Because I'm a quantum physics lady. Time doesn't exist, so somewhere I already have it. So the theory is that when you make a mantra or an affirmation, you make it stating, thank you that I have received blah, blah, blah. Thank you that my son, for an example, has joined a college. Thank you so much for my financial abundance. I'm so deeply grateful. Thank you so much for the sacred relationship that has now been created. Now you're saying, I already have it, and the universe goes, oh, she has it, and then it manifests that quickly. That's a secret that people don't realize. You never say, can I, would I, could I?
I know.
That is a fear-based
belief.
I need. That's fear-based. You got to stay away from fear-based comments and affirmations. It has to be, as a God, goddess, human being,
Yeah.
And the spark that is divine within you, the universe that resides inside of you, can create anything.
Yeah. Our friends have to know, too, that you appreciate the brainwashing, the conditioning of the earth plane.
That's
I
right.
mean, especially when we were young, and what we were given as so-called knowledge, which was data, and that it's once we get it, that it doesn't give us comfort and peace and joy, then we have to redo the plan. We have to go to plan B and then maybe plan C. But we all do come home, don't we?
Well, we recognize truth. And when we may not have any religious belief system or be affiliated to a church or whatever, but we remember what it was like before the fall of man.
Yeah.
Because our souls have been around for a very long time. And why? Because we're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yeah.
How do we know this isn't the dream?
Yeah. I've thought about that.
Nobody
yeah.
can tell us that that's not true.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know, because sometimes we wake up very exhausted. But the point is that the ability to manifest in us is so profound that we just need permission to be that person.
Yeah.
We need to be told sometimes this.
The truth.
The truth. And the truth is that we're creating constantly.
Yeah.
We have to start creating positively and thinking properly.
Yeah.
Because it's not so much the effects the world has around us that creates our reality. It's what we're putting out.
Yeah.
So we're seeing something negative, and we're identifying that we've created a negative pattern.
Yeah.
When we see something loving, that's why I tell people, be careful when you see movies. Your eyes will never forget. If you go to a horror film,
Oh, that's true.
you know, you will see something and it will be there forever.
Yeah.
It's just like a camera,
Yeah.
you know, and it'll be part of a data bank.
Yeah.
So be careful what you're subjecting yourself to, and your experiences, so you can keep creating positive.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why I've turned off politics lately.
Well, I don't watch a lot of TV when it comes to news, because I believe that we're not hearing, it's not balanced information.
Yeah.
We're not hearing the wonderful stories. We're
Yeah,
hearing
I know.
drama, because
I know.
drama sells.
I know.
People click on that. That's why the horror films have so much money that they make.
I know.
Which is very sad.
Go back to The Secret now, and I'm trying to remember it because I haven't seen it in a while. It's just basically programming what you want.
That's right. Well, basically, it's
Explain
like,
to us.
The first thing you have to do, for an example, let's say you wanted a new car, and your car is about to die, but you just need that new car. Well, the first thing I tell a client would go test drive the car that you want, so you can smell what it feels like. Take a picture of it. So now I tell people we're going to create a dream board, but never more than 3 dreams.
Yeah.
So now you're going to put the picture of the car, and so every morning or every night you're going to see it before and after. So for an example, my dream board is on my door to my bedroom. That's the first thing I see in the morning. It's the last thing I see. Why? Because my eyes are like a computer.
Yeah.
Cameras. I'm always affirming my dream by observation. But now I need to affirm the dream consciously.
Yeah.
So now I got to look at that car, and then I got to bring it down in my heart and feel like, what would it feel like to be driving that car? So I close my eyes for a minute, and then I smell the car. So I'm bringing a sense to the dream.
Yeah.
And then I start smiling right away because it feels fabulous. Why? Because I test drove it already. I know the feeling. So I'm going back to the memory.
Yeah.
Now this is the most important part, is you go into gratitude for life's blessings already. Because gratitude is the way you manifest.
Yeah.
But you also have to believe, when you're doing your dream board, that it's already something you have. So you're observing it, you're feeling it, bringing it down into the heart.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then you're expressing gratitude to the divine.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that car will be in your driveway probably in less than a year.
Yeah.
I've seen people manifest in 4 months from the dream board.
Yeah. Now you're reminding me of more of the movie.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's a secret, and it's not about, it didn't work, and you can't get into that type of energy.
Yeah.
Because, I did an experiment. I decided I was going to go to the movies, because I love going to the movies. So I was in my office, and I decided to visualize myself at the perfect parking spot in front of the movie theater. So I did this. So now I drive, and as I'm driving, I can see the spots taken, but as I drive up, the man left, and I went right in. I would fool around with manifesting.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
And when I recognize it by perceiving it and visualizing it and being excited about being there, I manifested it within an hour after my observation. So there's a lot of energies on the planet right now that are very high. That's why some people are having a problem with the emotional body. magnetic field is the lowest on the planet, which affects emotions.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of higher vibrations ever since we've gone into the
quantum
new millennium.
healing.
But it can you can manifest faster. That's why there is a huge responsibility when we take spiritual classes, that we're willing to do the work. Otherwise, I say it's better to step away, because there's a responsibility. Because once you raise your vibration, but then you go back into the negative programming of bad behavior, bad thinking, you are now manifesting a harder life. It can go either way. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing people don't understand, is that there is a responsibility we have with every truth we find.
Yeah.
And we're going to be judged on that in the end of our life.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
The washerwoman that never goes to a course, and person that's been to every class there is, who do you think is going to have more of an accountability? Is going to be the person that already knew and the truths came before them and they rejected it. It's free will. So
and there are many ways to manifest. Now I'm a lot simpler, because I don't do what you do. I mean, I will just look at those crooked ways being made straight. I see the mansions being prepared. I know who I am, and I just sort of, whatever that happens, my spaces open up, and it's just another, I mean, there are various ways that can happen spiritually. Whatever, in other words, your path is, whatever works for you or that opened you up or gave you the piece you were missing is pretty wonderful.
Absolutely. Plus, you have to remember you're being guided by your guides.
Yeah.
So everybody's
method
might be a little different, but it's really the same thing you're doing.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, because you do a lot of visualization, and you're doing a lot of I am. The I am is just the divine goddess and God within you. So you're calling that forth instead of the fear-based part of your personality, which is that morphic field part of us that is damaged.
You know, it's interesting too, coming into quantum healing, that if there has been trauma in your life and you've dealt with fear and loss and you have mourned, and you really want a relief, you really, it pulls you. As you said, you had some very rough moments as a teenager.
That's right.
It helps you to say, look, I can't go on like this. I gotta do something else.
Well, there's two things in life, and even though the Webster dictionaries, I think I spoke about this before, there are millions of words, but they're either affiliated to the word fear or love.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it. That's all that we're experiencing. Now, I'm going to share with you one of the guardians that I channel. I had quit my jobs, so now I was doing this full time. So there was some fear issues coming up. So I was meditating. They said, Cynthia, I want you to visualize a dirt road, and at the end of the road, I want you to see a cave, and I want you to see the darkness of the cave represents everything that you fear. And then I was there, and they said, do you see it? And I said, yes. And they said, now run like the wind, and I want you to dive in the center of it, not caring if you lived or died. So I started running, and I dove, and I did exactly what they said, and all of a sudden, all the energy, the fear wasn't there. Now, I did this for 2 days. Whenever it would crop up, I would sit and I would run, and I would dive in the center of the fear, and it would go. By the third day, it never came up again.
Oh, nice.
So this is a simple technique of facing fear. When you face it, because it's illusion, it will disappear. The reason why it lingers is because you don't face it. And you have to, it's all in energy.
I'm a firm believer in facing the fear and feeling it, and just, and it will go through you.
That's right. So it was a huge thing, because if you can fight fear energy or fear thought patterns, then you are now in control of your vehicle. And you can run the spirit through you. And it's so simple, but and you can do it through affirmations.
Tell me about the Peaceful Warrior. I don't know if I've seen that.
Now, I've seen the movie about 4 or 5 times, but what I thought was interesting...
Is it at the library?
You can get it at Netflix. It's a popular... Nick Nolte's in it. It's a very popular, well-made film. But
I may have seen it.
Wait
a minute. I think I have.
It teaches you how to be in a moment. And I've been studying for 38 years, and I never realized how many times my mind was distracting to the future or the past. But when you're in a moment, again, at every moment, we're choosing fear or we're choosing love. And that's every single second we're making choices. And our minds and then data is going so fast that if you're programmed, you're going to pick fear-based choices. That's where the program's right. It's almost like a corrupt file on a computer. I see a client who's a computer program, and I'm removing files and getting rid of the viruses. See what I'm saying? Because that's what we're doing. We're running all these different things. A lot of it is in our own, and some of it is our own. See?
We've taken it in, or we were taught.
We're accepting it.
You know.
We don't have, we at every moment can reject a negative thought. And the one thing people don't understand is that because we are psychic, we're radio wave antennas coming out of us. So sometimes
everybody's psychic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Some of our thoughts that we're getting, we think are our own, so we get traumatized.
Yeah.
It could be a person a mile away that we're picking up. So,
Yeah.
you know, to understand what is your thought and what is someone else's or the world's frequency,
Yeah.
takes time to understand how psychic, you know, how
Yeah.
it works and
Yeah.
how you need to learn. You know, they keep telling me, they ascended masters, to thine own self be true.
Yeah.
You need
To
this
listen.
is discovery about yourself.
Yeah.
What is your strengths? What is your weaknesses? This
Yeah.
is not a contest.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about my next door neighbor's spiritual life. I just need to keep my focus on the goal of enlightenment for myself.
Yeah.
And therefore, you don't have competition. You don't have power struggles. It's
Yeah.
a very humble experience. But to know thyself, to know your strengths, your weaknesses,
Yeah.
is the best thing you can do.
Now, help me again with, so I can be clear about, if you've watched The Secret and you say, oh, I get it, but nothing has shifted, they didn't get it.
They didn't get it. It's data.
Okay.
They understand it.
Okay, I got the point.
And but they didn't move it into the heart,
Yeah.
because anything that's worthwhile for you, you will immediately change
Yeah.
and have some shift, even if it's minor, because you have now enlightened to a higher truth and it shifted your life.
Yeah.
Any seminar, it doesn't have to be just The Secret or What the Belief.
Yeah.
Anything you go to
Yeah.
should change your life, and if it isn't, then you got to look inside to see where your blockages are to the heart.
Yeah.
Because you have to have that heart and mind connection to shift.
Yeah.
And I call it the field of grace.
Yeah.
If you can't
Yeah.
tap into the field of grace, you can't shift, because the field of grace is where all the miracles that have ever occurred on the planet, you've had to tap into.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I do quantum healing, I bring my clients in the field of grace.
Yeah.
I want them to be where all the miracle working power is.
Yeah.
So that they can shift, and I encourage them in their meditations and mantras in the day, and when they're looking in the dream board, is to go into the field of grace.
Yeah. So you give them a prescription.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I give them homework.
Homework.
Because if they don't, it will last so long,
Yeah.
and then they can collapse the wave of the quantum possibility we created and go back into the pattern. So you immediately have to be proactive in your healing
Yeah.
by stepping it up and saying, you know, this is my weakness, so I'm going to affirm this. So I give them affirmations. I help them with the mantras.
Yeah.
And then all they need to do is do them, and do
Yeah.
simple techniques. And I said, if they don't have 20 minutes a day
Yeah.
for their life, then what did they pay me for?
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
I do.
If you can't give 20 minutes of your life, then you have a problem with self-love.
Yeah.
Because it's so simple, the techniques, and you'll be so surprised when you see yourself manifesting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
And you recognize it, because my thought when I first learned this was, oh my God, we can overcome karma. We're
Yeah.
not tied down by all this. And it was like I got out of the box.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be the butterfly.
Do they readily understand? They must be very ready to hear what you have to say.
Most people that make an appointment with me are ready for a change.
Yeah.
That's why I never talk people into it, because
Yeah.
a healer never heals a client.
Yeah.
The job of the healer is to hold such intense love vibration for them that they can have that moment.
Yeah.
I remove the blockages, but their higher self is doing the work.
Yeah.
So I can see a client and have 5 different outcomes with 5 different patients.
Yeah.
That shows you I didn't do it.
Yeah. Sure.
But, you know, my job is to keep holding such unconditional love,
Yeah.
which will be a vibration that keeps growing as I continually understand it.
Yeah.
And that's the responsibility of the healer, to be in the best place
Yeah.
and to protect the client.
Yeah.
That's really what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
protecting and we're holding
Yeah.
energy, and we're removing blockages. The rest is
Yeah.
up to them.
Do you take time before you see your clients to?
Oh yeah, I always do a little bit of I put a shield up.
Yeah.
I teach the gold and silver frequency shield, which I would highly recommend to any massage therapist that do any hands-on anything, because
Yeah.
we are interfering with people's fields all the time. And I don't think there's enough protection techniques being taught to healers today.
Ah.
Back in the day, it would cost $10,000 to have a Reiki certificate.
Really?
Now it costs $150 or
Yeah.
maybe a total of $500 for the 3
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, call in white light. Well, guess what? There's a lot of light out there.
Yeah.
Let's be more specific.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll call in 12 and 13 dimensional white light. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So there are so many forms right now.
There's so many.
I mean, it's mind-blowing.
Well, it's exciting to me because
I love it.
the universe is allowing every expression for every type of personality.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing
well said, personality.
That's right. And so that's why we can't have a judgment. Our way is not everyone's way, and it will never be.
Yeah, that's right.
See? We all have a place and a voice for a human being. That's how much he loves us.
Yeah.
So there's a way, just like I said, there are some people that worship trees and the earth, and that's how they find their spirituality.
Yeah.
They never do it in a church. They're doing it out in nature.
Yeah.
That's divine.
Yeah, it is.
But if you need to go in the church, that's divine too. There is no judgment on how we find our love.
Yeah.
It's just the point of finding it.
Yeah.
Who cares how we get there?
Yeah. That's
We're so
true.
busy judging everyone in our religions that we are breaking the highest commandment of divine love.
Yeah.
So how can we stand and represent Jesus Christ? And it horrifies me.
Yeah.
Because he's my best friend.
Yeah.
And if he, please understand what love is.
Yeah.
That destroying the reputation of a Protestant or an Episcopal,
Yeah.
because we're not Catholic. I mean, this stuff has got to stop. We've got to give freedom where it belongs, and love should never have a condition on it.
Yeah. And it's hard to believe that actually that still exists.
We're judging constantly, every moment.
With the knowledge that we have, though, it's very interesting.
Well, I think there's a difference between making a judgment and having a discernment.
Okay.
See? A discernment is being aware of what you're observing. A judgment is already deciding, blum, 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 that person is not.
Comparing.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Discerning, we're supposed to discern.
Yeah.
But judging, you got to be careful about that, because, again, we're just going to hurt that person more.
Yeah.
Because we're going to compound their problem by entering into it.
Yeah.
Again, Einstein says, observe, observe your life, and you can transform everything.
Yeah.
When you enter it, you blow it up.
Yeah. And know who they are, even if they don't.
That's right. If you can hold the highest thought form for everyone, which I do with every client, and I have seen a lot of dysfunctional clients. They have a lot of issues. But if I can hold and perceive them, because I do see who they really are, just by me doing that during that hour or so, can change everything. So someone has to believe in someone.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I'm very concerned about the future of our children. Who's praying for them?
Yeah.
I'm still praying for all my family.
Yeah.
But are my kids praying? Are the children being learned to pray a mantra?
Yeah.
If we don't, what's going to happen when this generation is gone and no one's doing that work anymore?
Yeah.
So it's very important, whether it's a mantra or a formal prayer, that we are always putting out thought patterns on a consistent basis. That's why a mantra and the Hail Mary are the same thing.
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're repeating energy. And so what happens? It gets.
I have to believe, with all that has surfaced on healing, that it's just going to get nothing but better, and it's going to be passed down, and our youth are going to learn about it because it's just going to be in their face, like it wasn't in ours.
So the earth is going to survive with or without us.
Yeah.
The Earth Mother is an alive, well, soul being.
Yeah.
Mother Gaia, and we can be with the program, or we're going to suffer by not being with the program.
Yeah.
The more aligned you are to your divine self, the changes in the future are going to be very comfortable for us.
Yeah.
But for the people fighting it, it's going to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
See?
Yes.
And that's why we've seen in the last couple of years suicides, early deaths, just a lot of emotional, erratic behavior.
Yeah.
And it's because they are fighting. The energy is coming in. If it's vibrating higher than what we're used to, we have the ability, in my opinion, in this life, to really have an ascendant, to ascend in our spiritual path, and really, really go for the gold. And I tell people, go to the finish line. This is the perfect time. Back in the day, especially females, could we do this back in the 1800s? No. So if we've come and had a lot of incarnations as females, we've been oppressed. Now, thank God, being in the United States, we can have all these modalities coming out, and we're not dying for it this time. So the
women
fact
are
that
so
we have
powerful.
That's right. So we need to go for the gold. This is the perfect time, and this is why the earth is overpopulated. So many people wanted to reincarnate during this time because of what was going to happen. So it's an exciting time to be part, not to wish yourself to die. I can't wait to go home. Be alive to 105. We need to live.
And enjoy it.
Yes, and especially that we're learning these truths so we can help change the future of our children, our lives, and teach these things in a simple format.
Oh, we are down to 2 minutes. Oh, so your website
is www.mysticangels.net. That's plural.
All right.
It has my classes.
Yeah.
I do phone sessions. I do. I travel out of state. I do fairs and
And you're working out of Willie's?
Willie's Gym in Eastham. I'm going to have my crystals that are highly activated in healing codes.
Okay.
And I'm going to be doing psychic readings and quantum healings and workshops. So,
wonderful.
And I live in West Yarmouth, so I'm local, but I also have international clients. So you don't have to see me to help change.
To help change.
That's
And
right.
you do go for the gold.
Yes,
and
I
you
do.
That's how you work.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
You have knowledge, and you're holding on to it, and that's the gift.
Well, the gift is if they tell me to take a left, my guides, I take a left even if I can't understand it.
Yeah.
So
I
it's important.
appreciate what you just said. Yeah.
Yes.
The guidance that comes. I mean, you just listen.
Well, the
Take
most
it.
important thing is, and they keep telling me this the last 2 weeks, we only use 10% of our brain, so please, the intellectuals out there, understand you are very limited of what you're perceiving.
Yeah.
Start working more from the heart and you'll get the truth.
Yeah.
But you're only using 10% of your brain.
Yeah.
So you got to go by that
Yeah.
emotion.
And going to the heart is such a beautiful experience.
beautiful.
Yeah, it feels good.
It feels, and that's where you know when you hit a truth and it's right. You're peaceful.
Yeah.
Peace is the gift.
Yeah.
If you're not peaceful, take a look at your life again.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid, because this is a wonderful life to be alive, to change everything.
Yeah, and that's good for our friends to hear in our
Yes.
last minute, because if you do turn on the news, as you say, we hear of nothing but calamity.
That's right.
And that doesn't sound like a happy
Well,
place
it's in
to
balance. We got to stay balanced.
Yeah.
We need to have sacred relationships that we're in balance with. We need to be balanced with what we perceive in the
be.
world.
And where's the good news?
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't listen to the news.
Yeah.
Because I won't be part of an agenda that is so fear-based.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of beautiful people out there.
Yeah.
And we need to take credit for those beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And love them and enjoy
That's
them
right.
and see who they are no matter what.
The human nature of a person is so magnificent.
Yeah.
And yet when we watch TV, we're not seeing any of it. And we're being programmed daily that the
I
world
know.
is a bad place.
And since we have another minute, what about button pushers? Somebody comes into your life and you're resentful, you're angry. We were talking in our first program about who is that? What is
Well, that person is a reflection of ourselves.
There you go.
We're seeing a weakness in our own character that we got so
You
triggered.
identify.
We identify. So that's why I recommend the Hawaiian forgiveness prayer, the
Oh, yes.
Ho'oponopono prayer.
I wanna hear
You
that.
start, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you.
Yep.
And you hold them in your field when you say these prayers, and you will shift that person in yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
But you got to understand it's a trigger of our own weakness.
Yeah.
That's why we got reactive. It's either a past life or someone we know we could be.
Yeah.
And it's fear. We are afraid of them. That's why we react to them.
Or it reminds us maybe of a part of us once
That's
that
right.
we don't want to revisit maybe.
Which
so.
brings up the fear.
Yeah,
See?
I
So
know.
we react and we don't do it in love.
Okay, I got to check out. Thank you,
Thank
Cynthia
you for having me.
Frances-Bacon. And thank you, my friends, for joining us on Awaken the Dream. We'll talk to you again soon.